I never really got into the whole watch modding scene. I dabbled once by modding the hands and bezel inset on my balcony, but let's just say that didn't exactly go as planned. So when DIY Watch Club asked me if I wanted to build a GMT from scratch, a part of me got really excited, but another part of me thought I was probably gonna end up with a really expensive paperweight. My wife says I'm the clumsiest person she's met, and I can't really disagree with her. Can a clumsy beginner like me pull off building a watch at home? Let's find out. DIY Watch Club sent me their top of the line kit in this magnificent black box. It comes with all the parts and tools you need for the build. The tools in this kit are nothing like those cheap kits you get on Amazon or AliExpress. They look and feel incredibly high quality. They've also thrown in this handy phone holder. Why? Well, if you're a beginner like me, you're going to want to rely on the instructional videos. Trust me, don't skip the videos. Moving on to the build. First, I set the dial onto the movement. Once that was done, I put the movement into the holder. Now, this is the toughest part, setting the hands. My shaky hands were not prepared for this. This part of the build took me much longer than all the other parts combined. I kept setting the hands incorrectly. They either kept coming out or getting misaligned. Somehow, I even lost the second hand. It flew off the table and got lost in the ether of my floor. I guess DIY Watch Club knew this would happen to people because they give you 2 pieces of each hand in the kit, so that was a relief. After an hour of trying and failing spectacularly, I just gave up to preserve whatever sanity I had left. I came back the next day with a clearer head, and after another hour of trying, I finally managed to make it work. If you notice tons of scratches on the hands during the macro shots, I'm sorry, I tried. It's not pretty, but I think I somehow pulled it off. With that out of the way, I put the assembly into the case and attached the crown to see if everything worked. DIY Watch Club even lets you customize your own rotor, which is exactly what I did. I mean, how cool is this? Now we can close the case back, glue on the bezel insert, attach the bracelet, and let's see how this watch turned out. So, now that I've built the watch and didn't end up making it into a paperweight, is it actually any good? Honestly, I was not expecting this watch to be as good as it is. The fit and finish on the case is incredible. The brushwork is really fine and consistent, and there's a sharp transition between the polished chamfer and brush surfaces. The screw down crown has a good grip and it feels buttery smooth. They've also signed the crown, which is nice to see. I really like the side profile of the case. The sharp downturn on the lugs looks great, and it helps the watch wrap around the wrist, which is important because the case size here is a bit bigger than I prefer. The male end links on the bracelet increase the effective lug to lug to 53mm, so I don't think I'd have managed to pull this off without those curved lugs. I hope they offer smaller size like a 39 or 40mm in the future. I'm sure those of us with slender wrists would jump on that. The bezel action has a perfect amount of resistance, and the 120 clicks have a kind of ratchety feel. There's also barely any backplay, which is nice to see. I also like the bezel inset. The printing is crisp, and the black and blue combo is my favorite GMT color scheme. I'm not sure if the double dome crystal has an AR coating, but either way, it gives you a very clear view of the dial. Speaking of the dial, the matte black color gives it a toolish look. And I think all the dial elements look balanced. The print, date cutout, indices, and hands all play well with each other. I really like the red GMT text and the blue GMT hand. The applied logo is also a nice touch, but I'm not a fan of the model number below it. The blue BGW9 loom looks beautiful in the dark. There's a good application of it on all the loom elements, and it easily lasts the entire night. I wasn't expecting the bezel inset to be loomed as well, so that was a nice cool bonus point. The Seiko NH34 GMT movement performed as well as expected. I got a bit rough with it during the build, so I'm glad I didn't end up breaking it. Everything functioned well and it kept decent time. which was well within its stated accuracy ratings. The bracelet is probably the part that I didn't like the most. The links feel robust, and they're connected by screws, so it's easy to resize it to your wrist. But it just felt too chunky and heavy for me, and there was quite a bit of play between the links. Also, I wish they went with the mill clasp instead. The stamp clasp that they use feels cheap and it looks out of place because the rest of the watch is really well built. So to sum up, how did I find this whole experience? The entire build process took me about 4 hours, and besides some sweaty moments installing the hands, the rest of the process felt really straightforward. Was it fun? Yes. Would I do it again? Not a chance. If there's one thing I learned from this build, it's that I don't have the patience and steady hands to be a watchmaker, or even a watch modder. But don't let my realization stop you from trying this out. If you're into modding, or if you've always wanted to build a watch, you're gonna have a blast with this kit. Yes, you could save some money by going onto AliExpress, buying all the different parts, and just going ham with the build. But if it's your first time doing this, there's a lot that can go wrong with that. The loom on the dial and hands may not match, the dial size may be wrong, or the parts that you get may just end up being really low quality. You might be paying a bit of a premium here, but you won't have any of those issues with this kit. DIY Watch Club may not be the cheapest way to build your first watch, but it's by far the easiest. If you don't have shaky hands, of course.